So, a few days ago, Breaking the Page on Instagram announced a Miraculous Ladybug Power-Up Challenge, which is basically a challenge where we would create power-ups for Miraculous Ladybug based on the potions from the show. So, a little bit context on the power-ups in the Miraculous Ladybug show. So, basically, we were introduced to potions which can be fused into food, example camembert and macarons, so that the holders can eat them and gain powers while transformed in their superhero suits. And the only power-ups that we know are confirmed in the show are space, ice, and water. The rest we don't know what power-ups there are, and there's a total of 7. But according to the fandom wiki, there is a confirmed fire potion, which we don't know which color potion it is, but there is a confirmed one, which I did include and take consideration into this creation of the challenge. Now sure, could I have written down ideas and the concept and the lore and just call it a day? Yes. But did I do that? No. I went slightly overboard, and not only did I design character art, sort of, for the new power-ups that I added, but I also redesigned the old ones to suit my style, even though technically they didn't suit my style. But I just went a bit overboard, and to make it even worse, I gave myself a deadline and I tried to finish it in 2 days. Didn't end up doing that, so I extended it. So I finished it in 3 days, which is quite an achievement, but looking back, I literally only did drawing for this for the past 3 days. So what I did was I first created sketches of concept designs and basically sort of like a reference sheet style, and I sort of wished I had done designs for the Kwamis as well. I completely forgot or overlooked the fact that Kwamis can have their special looks with power-ups as well. But I'm not going back and drawing them to draw them, because I've already spent 3 days looking at only this. I'm not doing that. But besides from doing the reference sheet, I did draw simple illustrations on Clip Studio Paint as sort of like a second draft, and to have a better art to display out, because otherwise it would look very weird on my Instagram page. Another reason why I went overboard is because I am planning on making my own Miraculous Ladybug rewrite. So Breaking the Page, they have their own Miraculous Ladybug rewrite, but way before that, back in 2022 I think, I had an epiphany where I really wanted to do my own Miraculous rewrite. I haven't done it yet. I'm still in the very early stages of figuring out the characters, the world building, but currently it is on hold because I am working on my own book that once it's done, I'll maybe work on this Miraculous Ladybug rewrite, who knows. But that's besides the point. I did this today, this many, and went overboard. Half of it was mainly because I really wanted to just do it as well for my own Miraculous Ladybug rewrite, and maybe in the future I have more better ideas, so maybe I could change it. It's not concrete yet, obviously. So this is basically just the early designs that I'm also doing for the challenge as well. So I sort of did this in a weird way where I Instead of drawing each power-up character individually and then moving on to the next, I drew sketches of all of them, and then I colored all of them, and then I cleaned them up, all of them. I did it like that, which makes it harder to edit. So in the future, if I do anything like this, I will keep that in mind and just do it individually and not have it based on the process. So the screen may not look exactly, may not sync up to what I'm talking about. So first things first, let's talk about the water power-up for Ladybug and Cat Noir, which I kept their names the same as Aquabug and Aqua Noir, and for this redesign/rewrite of their powers, I changed their designs very slightly because I quite like the aqua designs. For Ladybug, I gave her curlier ribbons in the original sketch, and as well as gave her extra fins, and her belt is like a fin type of belt, which is in the original design, and also gave her flippers. In Cat Noir's design, I basically just gave him a round tail and call it a day, and extra fins as well. For the powers, I kept the same powers, which is water breathing, underwater talking ability, and enhanced swimming abilities, but I did give extra powers, which is water bending, which is something I gave to all of them element-based powers, which is the element bending. So in the final design, I did change Aquabug's color from pink to blue because I feel like it's too much in the reddish area, and even though she looks so good in pink as well, I wanted some contrast, so I did change it to blue. I might add some pink accents in my rewrite in the future, or like highlights, pinky highlights, but for now it is just the fins, the belt, the ribbons. For Aqua Noir, I didn't change much from the original reference that I made. I kept the fins on the lower thigh, is it called? On the lower leg, and on his arms, as well as flippers and a round tail. Basically it looks really close like the original designs in the show, but I do want to note that I didn't give them scales in the illustration. They are supposed to have scales. I got lazy to draw scales, so we'll just imagine they have scales. Okay, good. So that was the first redesign/rewrite of the power-ups. The next one we are going to talk about is the ice power-up, which I changed quite a bit. In the reference, I gave Lady Ice spiky ribbons or ice-like ribbons. I kept her tiara, and I gave her a coat, like those half coat things. I have no idea what those are called. I do not know fashion. I gave her some ice gloves and obviously some skates. And for Ice Cat, I gave him ice gloves, a spiky tail, and skates. For the powers, I kept the same resistance to freezing temperatures and enhanced ice skating abilities, but I did give them ice bending powers as well, which I am not sure if it's called ice bending. It's up to debate. So for the final ice design, I scrapped the gloves but I gave them like, how do you call them, like wrist warmers, just to balance it out, but I didn't feel like the gloves would match. But I am not so sold on it yet. But otherwise I kept it quite similar. I gave Ladybug a belt which has spiky ice instead of the round ones like the aqua bug. And I will have to note, okay, that the circle in below her chest in the middle is actually where her yo-yo is. I changed it to be there instead of to be at the side like in the show. Because I just prefer it like that, and I am changing that in my rewrite to put it there for now. I may change it in the future, who knows. But just a little side note. And other than that, Lady Ice doesn't have any other changes. For Ice Cat, I did the same. For Ice Cat, I did the same thing with the gloves. I got rid of them and gave him wrist warmers or fluffy things on their wrists. For the space designs, I kept them pretty similar, I'd say. So for Cosmo Bug, I kept her bright blue hair, and her ribbons I just changed her hairstyle to be space buns because space. I'm very smart. For her suit, I gave her wings / elytras, a star-like belt, and some boots. And for Astro Cat, I gave him a glowy tail, some boots, and a very weird looking wing. I am not sold on this wing just yet, but I have the idea to make it more like a, what's it called? A glider? Like a wind glider instead of actual wings. I may change that. But for the powers, I kept it the same. So they have retractable wings, which grants them hyperspeed flying, space breathing with the helmet, so they can breathe in space, and also long range scanner, because apparently they have that in the show. I don't remember. Genuinely. It's been a while. So, for Cosmo Bug in the illustration, I kept her mostly the same, and I really have nothing else to say because it's pretty much the same. For Astro Cat, it is also the same, except I got rid of the glowy tail and changed it to a weird looking accent tail. I'm still not sold on it yet, but it's the best I got. Now going to the new, or sort of new, concepts. We have the fire power-up, which I love this design and concept so much. I do not know why. This one's my favorite out of all of them. But for Ladybug, I gave her the name Lady Blaze, and I gave her ribbons which sort of resemble fire, and I gave her fiery pigtails as well as some fire gloves and boots and some fiery accents, which I later got rid of because I felt it was too busy, but I still love it. For Blaze Noir, or Fire Cat Noir, I gave him tree tails, which sort of match Ladybug's ribbons and correspond with it, and also some gloves and boots. For the powers, it's basically resistant to heat / fire / lava / smoke. So basically they can walk on lava with their boots. It turns molten lava to hardened lava, and they can survive in smoky environments so they don't choke or suffocate to death, and their powers are firebending. So in the final Lady Blaze design, I scrapped the accents and gave her a little skirt, which I wish I did more designs on, and I wish I had made it more detailed, but I didn't. And I scrapped the boots and just gave her sort of fiery legs. I guess the color is different, which indicates the powers, I'd say, as well as gave her the same colored hands to firebend. Other than that, nothing has changed for Lady Blaze. For Blaze Noir, I didn't change much, honestly. Blaze Noir is my least favorite drawing of them all because it was the last one, so I got lazy and tired. I kept the three tails, I kept the boots, and I made his accents orange instead of green this time to sort of match the fire vibes. But outside of that, nothing changed. Getting into the actual new powers, we have the wind power, which I gave them flights with breeze's presence, which basically means that they can only fly with a breeze or like a wind current, like wind. So if there's strong wind, they can have this power and they can fly along the wind and be able to control it. They also have wind bending, so they can control the direction of the wind as well. So basically flying, but with extras, I'd say. For Lady Breeze, which is what I called her, I originally gave her some very long, very weird ribbons, which I got rid and changed in the final one, but I also gave them capes, and obviously Ladybug has her belt. And for Cat Noir or Breeze Noir, besides the cape, nothing is added. I am very original. But for Lady Breeze, the ribbons I decided to change into little antenna ribbons instead, which I wish I had incorporated more antenna motifs in the other power-ups, but it's too late to change it now. And nothing changed for Breeze Noir in the illustration, so we shall move on to the next one, which is electricity. So for the electricity power-up, Ladybug and Cat Noir gets powers to resist lightning strikes. So basically if they're struck by lightning in a thunderstorm, they won't get electrocuted. And they have electricity / lightning control, where they are able to sort of control and command the lightning's sort of direction and where it hits when there's a thunderstorm. For Lady Voltage, which is what I call Ladybug, I gave her spiky sort of lightning bolt hair design, which I am not that much of a big fan of, but I really don't know how else to include the lightning motif. I did include it in her belt and gave her boots as well, but I did include it in the belt design, but I am not that big of a fan of her hair. It looks too anime-ish to me. But I gave her some antenna, and for Voltage Noir, originally he had purple accents with a lightning bolt tail, but in the illustration I changed it to be yellow to match his belt, and sort of make it more cohesive with the rest of the designs, because I wanted to use a limited color palette and not introduce that many colors, so I just used the same color as the bell. And that is it for lightning or lady voltage. And that is it for the electricity / lightning power up. I did change Ladybug's hair to have no yellow accents, but that's it for her illustration. For the last power up, which I really love this concept, but in the drawings it's sort of harder to draw it, but I gave them a camouflage / sort of nature-ish power up. So because camouflage is basically a part of nature, it can be considered a nature element, but they don't have nature powers. The only power they have is their suit gets to change colors to better hide and camouflage with their surroundings, so they are basically little chameleons. For the designs, it's basically the same, except for Ladybug's ribbons, which I made it look like ladybug wings / elytras. Now I will have to note, for all of these designs I based them mostly off of the original designs in the show, apart from Ladybug's sort of yo-yo placement. I didn't base it off of my redesign to add on to be the power-up designs. I do not know why I chose it, and I didn't base it off of Breaking the Page's design or Momo's design. I just base it sort of on the show, sort of not really. It's really weird. I don't know why, but what the camouflage power will do is basically their normal sort of design or outfits, but when they need to, they can change colors to blend in with their surroundings. They don't go totally invisible, but they sort of blend in more. For the names, I gave Ladybug a name called Lady Obscure, and Cat Noir is called Conceal Noir. So for the names, I did a thing where for the really elemental focus power-ups, I gave them matching names. So Lady Ice, Ice Noir, or Ice Cat. And for space, they have different names, so Astro Cat and Cosmo Bug. So for this camouflage power-up, I followed the space trend, so I gave them different names or keywords for their names. And that is it for the lore and designs of my power-ups versions. I still feel like I'm not 100% satisfied with it if I were to add it into my rewrite, but obviously that's miles away. I have my book to write, so I am not going to focus on it that much, but I am pretty happy with what I got done in 3 days for this challenge, because it's only 3 days. Not a lot of time has passed, to be honest.